New custom color drops from Raid and Duo. OSP celebrates their 20th anniversary with a limited edition drop. New baits from Deps, Yamamoto, Lucky Craft, and more. And the big four, Megabass, GLoomis, St. Croix, Daiwa, all release competing rods at the same time. This is what's new this week at the Hookup Tackle Bassmaster Classic Drop Edition. Let's go. Welcome back, my friends. Happy Sunday. I am Ben with the Hookup Tackle, a Tackle Otaku on Instagram, being joined this beautiful Arizona warm Sunday morning by my buddy Jeffrey the King. What's up, dude?
Hello, sir.
How are you?
I'm doing fantastic.
How are you enjoying the Bassmasters Classic so far?
To be honest with you, I've been too busy with work to be paying attention.
I see. Bit tough work schedule right now?
Unbelievably.
I see. Your boss sounds like a dick.
He's alright.
Yeah. Cheers, my friends. Happy Sunday.
Whoa,
I hope you guys...
Whoa. What's...
There's an Orion crisis happening right now in Phoenix, Arizona. Orion, where are you? I can't find it anywhere.
Wow.
Yeah. These guys, my staff, absolutely fucked me. Drinking
100%.
all the Orion.
Yeah.
I think they drank all of it just to mess with me. So now I'm slumming with some Modelo.
What is this?
It's Modelo. It's, you know, it's all right.
Looks darker than...
Cheers.
Oh,
It's a dark Modelo.
Negro.
Mm-hmm. Yes, sir. Would you like one?
Is it better than a normal Modelo?
It's just darker. That's how it works, Jeff.
Okay.
You know beer knowing anything.
I really don't.
Cheers, guys. Happy Sunday. I hope you don't have a Jeff in your life bringing you down all the time. Negativity. It's all that circles around you.
I was just asking.
By the way, since you didn't know, it's Bassmasters Classic weekend.
Right.
Okay? It's a big tournament that happens.
Huge.
Okay? The big thing in the tackle world is that the Bassmasters Classic weekend is now kind of the big drop weekend for a lot of brands over iCast. I hope this is a trend that continues because you know that iCast sucks and I hate it. So I would love to see more of this happen. Tons of exciting things dropping today. So many things dropping actually that we're splitting this into two parts. So we're saving a bunch of stuff for next week as well. But this week is a huge week. We're gonna fly through a lot of it. By the way, if you caught the last thing I mentioned in the intro, all four big rod brands, Megabass, new rod. St. Croix, new rod. GLoomis, new rod. Daiwa, new rod. Newish rod. All competing against each other. Never happened before that I can remember that all four drop at the same time competing against each other. We're gonna end on that, okay? And I'm gonna kind of dive into it deeply so you guys, if you're confused with which way to go or you wanna just kind of learn about them, I'm gonna put that at the end. I'm gonna dive into it so you guys can really dig through and make good decisions. But before that, we're gonna talk about baits, some limited drops. Let me take another swig. Sure you don't want a beer?
I'm fine.
Okay, one more rejection, let's go. All right, we're gonna start right here. One of my favorite baits to come out in the last year or so, the Raid Osakana slide. This is a soft jointed glide bait that is a line through. We are dropping a brand new custom color in this. We dropped a custom color a couple months ago called Game Over. We are re-releasing Game Over, by the way, so if you missed it, you didn't get any, we just re-dropped them, and now we are adding a brand new color, Ghost Geisha. Okay, so this is our first Ghost Geisha in a soft bait that we've ever done. We do Ghost Geisha in some hard baits. We've done it in some Teckle baits. We've done it in some OSP baits. Now we have it in our first soft bait. So there is a look at Ghost Geisha. So it is kind of a pearlish gray back, transitioning to a clear with hologram flake side, and then a light kind of bluish pearl belly. Now this is an amazing color when you need to kind of diminish the profile just a touch, okay? Give it a little bit of transparency. If you compare it side by side with Game Over, this is kind of a great 1-2 punch. You know, I'm a sucker for whites. Whites are, and Jeff, you and I spent a lot of time talking about this recently about, you know, glides and, you know, this style bait. White's just kind of a go-to for me. So, you know, here's Game Over. It's more of that kind of, you know, albino pearl shad-esque type of color. This is going to give you a more clear, transparent. Now, even though it's clear, you know, Griff and I were out the other day throwing it around in some muddy water. It still has some body because of that white. So it's a great color for, you know, clear water, slightly stained water, even to, I'd say, mid stain. It's still going to show up. If you get too muddy, then you can go to the, you know, full white. But if it's too muddy, you're probably not throwing a glide bait anyways. You're probably throwing a jig, or, well, you're probably just scoping, right? Minnow and a jig head, right? So there you go. Ghost Geisha, brand new color, officially dropped. I think you guys are going to catch a ton of fish on it. By the way, if you are new to this bait, this is a single joint line through bait. Okay, so line goes through the nose, out the bottom. It comes with this kind of harnessed hook. You can use this, you can use whatever hook you want. A lot of guys are just using like a size 1 quad, or they're taking the stinger off. You can do whatever you want to do. If you want to weight it, you can. There's a little slot right here that you can stick a nail weight straight into the bait, weight it right in the middle so you can use it as a scoping bait, which a lot of guys are doing. But the nice thing about the line through is that once they are hooked up, the bait will tear away from the hook, and so they don't have the leverage of the bait like they do a hard glide to toss, okay? So the biggest thing I can tell you is you have to give them a second before you swing, and the swing is not really much of a swing. It's really just kind of a turn and put some pressure. But when they eat this, because it's jointed, it will have a tendency to kind of collapse. You just have to give them a quick second, just exhale, and then just kind of put pressure, and that'll be enough for those hooks to find the mouth, slide out, and you got them. Okay, so you guys will catch a ton of fish on it if you're not already. So there you go, Ghost Geisha, Game Over back. Also, there's a bunch, all the other colors are back as well, and Raid also dropped a new color, if I can find it. So all the traditional colors that have been out are back in. So the Bait, Hustler, you know, all these types of colors are all back from Raid in the Osakana slide. But then Jeff, you might like this one. Kiwami Ayu. So a new IU color. I know you're a sucker for IU colors.
Right.
It's kind of close to the IU they already had. So there's the IU they already have. It's just kind of like more of a blackish back, I would say. So kind of a darker black-brown back versus the green. So, you know, another new color from them, but again, kind of going with that transparent body. So 2 new colors and a restock of Game Over from Raid, available now. All right, while we are on Raid, I know I was just teasing about that whole strolling thing, but let's be honest, it's here. It's probably gonna be here to stay. One of the hottest baits in that strolling lane right now is the fish roller. You're gonna be hearing a lot about this over the next few weeks. The 3-inch fish roller is back, okay? And there's a bunch of new colors. So there's some new fish skin colors. Okay, I'm just gonna I'm not gonna spend a ton of time on this because I think most of you guys know about this already. So the fish skin colors are going to incorporate kind of like that real fish kind of pattern on there. All the standard colors are also back. So if you guys are fans of, you know, this style bait, this is a great one to get. We should see the 4-inch back next week, and then a new 5-inch and 6.5-inch size next week also, hint, hint. For next week's drop. But if you guys are fans of that 3-inch, this is a great one to throw for scoping. You can also an amazing hover shot bait. Okay, so there you go. New colors from Raid in the fish roller, available now. All right, guys, another custom color drop. This time from Duo. Game Over is now available in the BR Fish. So our #1 live scope bait of the last year now has Game Over. So Game Over, remember, is that custom color that we did with Raid in the Osakana slide. This is a color that has been missing. They've been missing an all pearl white. So let me take it out and I will show it. Oh, by the way, while we're on this, there are also, for the classic, I think 10 new colors in this. So BR fish designed to go in the BR head. By the way, before you ask the question when our head's coming back, April is the ETA on those. So hopefully you guys have heads to attach this. If you don't, still an amazing bait. You can do a lot of things with it. But you guys know how this works. If you wait for heads, there won't be any baits. If you wait for baits, there won't be any heads, right? So you've got to get them when you can get them. Let me open this up and I will show you guys game over. It's simple in this bait, but it's going to be a highly effective one. So here you go, game over. It's pretty much kind of an albino pearl shad-esque type color that when you hold it up and you look at the profile, it kind of has a real faint chartreuse, even though it's kind of got that pearl with a little bit of red pearl swirl. It's just a perfect all-around natural bait fish pattern to be used on the BR head. So those are available. I'm gonna fly through these new colors with you, okay? And I'm gonna take each one out of the package, but I'll show them. So this is Pepper Prism, new color, kind of a two-tone, so a nice shad color. By the way, these are all being done because the BR fish, if you guys remember, was originally designed for saltwater. Okay, so it became so popular in freshwater that this is the new freshwater lineup of colors. So Smoky Magic is this one. Nice natural bait fish pattern as well. We have Ice Cube, so kind of a clear and all clear white. Looks good. But again, I'm a sucker for white. We have Lively Rikyu. Okay, so nice, good, natural minnow type pattern. We have Electric Olive. It's good. There's going to be some smallmouth destroyed on that color. We have Brown Zircon. So kind of a reddish brown with some hologram flake. Interesting. We have, not to be confused with Lively Rikyu, we have just plain Rikyu. Okay, so just a little bit more subdued. And then finally, we have Young Watermelon. Is that how you like your watermelons, Jeff?
Always young.
Yeah, that's what I thought. So there you go, 10 new colors plus a custom color in the BR Fish, available now from Duo. All right, and then one more custom color release. Game over.
Another.
In the Versa Shad Fat 5-inch.
Wow.
So this is the new 5-inch paddle tail swim bait from Duo. We are now offering game over in that as well. So if you guys are a bento box subscriber, you would have got a pack of this in your March bento box. I love this bait. This is a really good all-around versatile paddle tail. You can fish it very slow, you can fish it very fast. It has a little bit of a different action than other paddle tails on the water. So it's just slightly different and it's nice to fish. It's a pretty hard plastic, so it's very easy to skip. You can put it right in the cover. It's dope. So there you go. Game over. Available now in that bad boy. All right, Jeff, let's jump over to Megabass really quick. So the big announcement from Megabass this week is the drop of the new Orochi X10s, and we're gonna come back to that at the end of the episode. But if you follow Megabass on Instagram, you of course have probably seen that they did a limited edition BassMasters Classic color there at the Classic. Those are only available at the Classic. In years past, they've offered them to dealers and we've been able to get them for you guys. This year, for whatever reason, you'll have to talk to them. They didn't do that, didn't make enough pieces. I'm not exactly sure, but I didn't want to go a whole week and not have something cool for you guys. So I was able to secure some more limited Japan only 110 colors that you guys might be interested in. So I'm not going to spend a ton of time, and I'm going to kind of show you what we have floating around if you want to grab them. So GLXS Spring Reaction is back. And by the way, these are going to fly out of here. I'll do my best to keep them around. How about that guy? When's the last time you saw Viper Tiger? Okay, Viper Tiger is back. There's some fine art. So there's some fine art Oikawa. There's some fine art IU. There's MRB Shad. One of my favorites, MG Vegetation Reactor. Okay, and then there's also a couple in the +1 as well, Cotton Wakasagi. I saw Shiny IU was up there, GLXS Glitter IU. vegetation reactor. So if you guys are fans of 110s and +1s, this is a great chance to scoop up some harder to find JDM colors. We did the same in Pop Max as well, so some respect colors came back, like PM Midnight Bone. There's a bunch over there, so check them out. Those are available while supplies last from Megabass. All right, while we are on Megabass, we see a huge restock this week in their Great Hunting line of baits. Okay, so across the board on humpbacks, flat sides, you know, even like the 70 flat sides, those return in all colors. But the big news is a couple of baits that we haven't had in quite some time are also back. So the Great Hunting Vibe 38 returns in all the colors, in all the key colors. So, you know, Yamame, Pinkback OB, so on and so forth. This is a really cool little finessey bait finesse lipless that absolutely destroys. We don't see them very often. They only make them about once a year or 18 months. So cool to see those guys back. Just spec it out. It's 38 millimeters, 3.7 grams, tiny little dude. So those return. We also see the return of the Great Hunting Dive 48, and again in all of the key colors. So again, this is a deeper diving jerkbait designed for trout, but a lot of bass guys use this, and there's a lot of bassy colors. There's Wakasagis, there's Ayu, so on and so forth, and there's lots of trout colors as well. So again, to spec it out, it's 48 millimeters, 3.2 grams. It's a slow float bait, but it's a great one for fishing lakes and ponds and places where you just need a little subtle, deep diving, small little bait. Those return from Megabass as well. All right, Jeff, let's jump to OSP really quick. OSP is celebrating the 20th anniversary of the Blitz crankbait. Okay, it just happens to fall over the classic month, right? So 20 years the Blitz has been on the market. It's hard to believe. So they wanted to do something special, and they are celebrating with a limited edition custom color. This is a straight celebration color, right? Nothing practical about this, just cool, okay? And it's coming with a little gift on the back as well. Let me open this up and we'll take a look at it and we'll break it down. So first, let's start with the bait. So Blitz, probably one of the most famous square bills maybe ever made. Super effective, just a great one to have in the box. You've got the 20th anniversary hit on the top. You've got those super sick kind of flames coming out the sides. So it is a commemorative bait that if you guys are a collector, it'll be a great one to collect. If you like just catching them on super dope things, it'll be a super dope one to catch them on as well. Now, it is also going to come with just a little kind of cool gadget. Okay, so this is from OSP. This is just a water bottle clip. Okay, so it is designed to clip like on a belt ring or a belt. You can put it on a pack. If you have a little D-ring, you can attach it there. And that front clip just attaches right there to a water bottle. So you have a water bottle clip. So if you're walking around, if you're hiking the trails, and this is the type of stuff you're using, or maybe you're just quick shore banging, you don't want to bring like a huge, you know, metal bottle, you just have something like this, boom, clip it on, you got it on your hip, you got it on your pack, wherever you need it, and it's OSP branded. So kind of a cool thing, just kind of fun more than anything, but there you go. Happy 20th anniversary, OSP. Congratulations on 20 years of Blitz. This is a one-time limited offering, so if it speaks to you, I would definitely grab these up. Those are available now. All right, Jeff, let's jump over to Deps. Before I get into the new release from Deps, if there's any of these left, we teased this on Instagram yesterday. I know that Sakamata Shads have been next to impossible to get. 4-inch, 5-inch, some 6-inch, trickling back, okay? This is not as big of an order as I would love to see. This is going to be a process over the next few months of some inventory, some inventory, some inventory. So scoop them up when you can get them, right? But it has been a while since any of the good key colors have been available. So if you guys have been missing the 5-inch Sakamata, the 4-inch Sakamata, heavyweights as well are also back. So depending on how deep you're trying to get it. Again, the Sakamata designed as a fluke style bait, but really where it has dominated is this has become the #1 scoping bait of everybody. This is the bait that Koya's kicking everybody's butt on. This is the bait that everybody's using for scoping. So if you've been waiting, they are available while supplies last again from Deps. Now, what we've all been waiting for, right? Jeff, you're looking at me confused, but I know when you first saw the cover Scat, yeah, all of us, okay? When you first saw the cover Scat, did it go through your mind that it's a little thick?
Maybe.
Yeah, so now we have a Slender Scat. Finally, this is what we've been waiting for. The all-new Deps Slender Scat is available now. Is that excitement on your face? I wonder if that's excitement on your face. All right, let me show you some of the colors. It's available in all the normal colors, right? So green pumpkin, gory, scuppernong, so on and so forth, right? Now, let's take one out.
You're actually gonna take one out?
Don't you want to play with the Slender Scat? Do you not want me to take one out? Here, put a Slender Scat in your hand. Now, when I first started teasing these on Insta, of course, the first thing everybody said is, oh, congratulations, you made a Senko, right? So, of course, it's Senko-esque, but it is a cover Scat at its core. So it is a heavy, dense plastic designed to sink to the bottom the same way a cover Scat would sink. This is not designed to be a Senko that's like a slow, horizontal, quivering thing. This is designed to get to the bottom quick so you guys can fish it, jerk it, pop it off of the bottom. It's just giving you a slender option instead of a thick option. You know, for those times when you know they're not eating it because it's not skinny, right? So there you go. I don't know if it was needed or not, but I know the cover Scat catches a ton of fish, so I'm curious. I'm gonna try it. What say you, Jeff?
You can try it. And you,
Okay.
And you give me the feedback.
Okay, I will do that. So there you go. The Slender Scat from Deps. Those are available now. So, you know, Andrew brought up a good point. It does have a very similar look to a dot crawler. If you guys remember back when Megabass used to be in this game, they had a dot crawler. It's basically a big, dense Senko kind of bait. We used to use it all the time for fishing current. So a lot of times when there'd be any kind of current drift or even wind, you throw a unweighted Senko out and the wind just kind of drifts it or the current drifts it. You could take a bait like this, it has more density to it and it will still cut through and have that horizontal fall down to those fish. So I think you guys are gonna, you know, I'm kind of making fun of it, but you guys are gonna catch a lot of fish on it. So I think it'll be a good bait. Slender Scat from Deps, those are available now. All right, while we are on Scatty stuff.
Right.
Okay.
Go on.
New from Yamamoto. The brand new size that you knew you needed in Yamatanuki.
Yep.
The 4.25 inch size Yamatanuki
What was the
is
original
here.
size?
I don't know. 3.5.
Okay. 4.25.
3.75. Yeah. So a bigger Yamatanuki.
Big dog.
Okay. So Yamatanuki, kind of the original kind of Scat design. Lots of the ways you can use this. Most guys are just using it weightless, kind of pitching it around, flipping trees, throwing it like a Scat. Doesn't quite have the fast sink rate or density as a true cover Scat does, but it's maybe a better flipping option. A lot of guys using it as a jig trailer, putting it on a shaky head. There's all kinds of different ways going around, but you basically have that little donger on the top over there that just kind of wiggles around. It gives you just a little bit of motion. 2 hook grooves on there. So again, this is a welcome addition. Yeah, so I'm into this. I'm into this much more than that tiny one that they did. That one didn't do anything for me. So, you know, cool. So a new size, all the normal colors, right? So your green pumpkins, your whites. Yamamoto packaging is horrible. It's almost impossible to tell the color because they have so much damn script all over it. But black, blues, green, you know, all the normal stuff. So the new 4.25 Yamatanuki, those are available now from Yamamoto. Now, another new Yamamoto drop that I'm not as excited about, but I will let you guys decide. This is the brand new Sensei worm. from Yamamoto. Now, for me, and I might be wrong, you guys will have to tell me if I'm wrong or not. For me, it looks a lot like a trick worm. So basically Yamamoto made a trick worm. So, you know, they have been trying to make a bait in every category. So here's a Yamamoto version. It's obviously very soft. It's going to have a lot of action. I've been watching and kind of listening to a lot of guys are recommending fishing it on the flat side, pulling it forward so it creates a little bit of a vibration. I don't know, but you know, it's going to be available in all the Yamamoto colors. So if you guys are looking for, you know, a drop shot worm, a shaky head worm, a Neko worm, this might be a good option, right? And if you're confident in Yamamoto colors and plastics, it might be a good one. There you go. You know what hasn't been said? Nobody has said if it's salt or not salt. I don't think it's salt. I think it's a floating plastic. Some salt. So there's definitely salt, but it's not heavily salted like a Senko is. So it's gonna still have some salt, definitely has oil. Kind of gross. You wanna bite?
Drink your...
Put a worm in my beer. I wouldn't recommend that, but yeah, so I think it's going to be kind of a hybrid. So you're going to have probably a little bit of buoyancy. Again, these just released. I haven't had a chance to use them. I'm just first impressioning them. Yeah, so all the normal colors, right? So you got June bugs, black blues, watermelon reds, red bugs. There's a morning dawn, you know, green pumpkins, so on and so forth. So Sensei worm from Yamamoto, those are available now. You know what? Yamamoto Sensei worms are disgusting.
Yeah.
That was a bad idea.
That was a bad idea?
Mm-hmm.
The oil, huh?
It's like coated my mouth.
Oh no.
It's like eating a whole thing of McDonald's French fries.
Oh really?
Yeah, it's just like fat around my... Or maybe that's the trick to it.
That's what happens with
Watch,
the bass?
that's the secret flavor.
That's the secret
They
flavor.
just soak the Sensei worms in French fry grease. All right, Jeff, a new bait for your people. Not a new bait, but new colors.
Oh, the Gizmo.
Are you excited? A
Yeah.
whole new color refresh
Thank God.
of our #1 selling bug bait.
Ichiban.
It's the best.
Yeah, I mean, it's amazing.
It floats there and doesn't do anything. It's amazing.
Right.
But for some reason, we sell gazillions of these stupid things. I don't get it, but apparently you guys must know something I don't know. There's so many baits here in my pile. These can't all be new, but I'm just going to show them to you. Bubblegum pink, bone, because that's important to have in a bug.
Right.
Sight black,
Mm-hmm.
definitely a color they've been missing. Chartreuse orange marble.
Yes.
Yeah, that bite goes
Yeah.
hard sometimes.
Right.
Killer Bee, I think, is a restock, and Dragonfly. I don't know. That's probably a restock. So there you go. Some new colors in Gizmo, and obviously some restocks and some old ones. Stock up while you can. Another new bait from Evergreen, the Last Ace 140 Swim. Now we've had these, we've been bringing these over from Japan for the last couple of years, but there's some new color additions in here, and now it'll be US supported, so it should be a little bit more of a flow. Do you hear or see much about Last Aces, Jeff?
No, sir.
Okay. So this is a swim bait that's been around in the Evergreen lineup for a while. You know, it's not necessarily a new bait, but it's a new bait coming over to the US. It's a very subtle, it's a line through bait. Okay, so again, it's gonna go through the nose, out the belly. It's a very hard plastic. So it's gonna have a very tight movement, very subtle movement, more like a lipless type movement to it. So it's just gonna give you that really, really tight movement. It might be perfectly applicable for you guys. It doesn't weigh a lot, so it specs out kind of good. It's 140 millimeters, 22 grams, so it's just over 3/4 of an ounce, so it's a really easy one to throw. But there's a bunch of colors, you know, A lot of them are kind of darker and gaudy, but there's some good shad colors mixed in as well. So if that speaks to you, you want to try something new, the Last Ace 140 Swim, those are available now from Evergreen. All right, Jeff, a big week from Lucky Craft. So Lucky Craft has some new drops. They have some resurrected drops, and then they have some new color additions I think you guys are going to be really excited about. So let's start right here. A new bait drop from Lucky Craft. Here is a look at the Flat CB SR from Lucky Craft. Now, let me spec it really quick. It's 63 millimeters, 9.2 grams. This is a flat-sided bait designed to go kind of 1 to 3 feet. Now, it's going to be available in 5 colors. So there's Gizzard Shad, Teal Craw, Flake Kabuki Gill, BE Gill, and Pink Dragon Gill. An interesting 5-color lineup, but let's take this bad boy out and I will show it to you now. When this first came in, Griff and I took it out just to make sure that we could talk about it correctly. We cut the shit out on it. So I'm kind of into it, and Griff's into it. So this is a super flat crankbait, right? So what they wanted to design is they wanted to design a flat side that would hunt and that would maintain posture. So you can fish this in wind and current at various speeds, and it will maintain posture. It's a very tight side to side, but it will also kind of hunt, which is that kind of built-in shape of the lips. So you kind of have a hunting crankbait. It does have an internal weight transfer system. So it casts easy, even though it's only 9 grams. There is an internal weight transfer system. The only thing that I would just keep in the back of your head, it does have pretty good size hooks. It comes with size, I believe they're 4s. But you will, every once in a while, get some of that happening. Now, what I did notice is that when we were fishing it and just casting it around, I didn't really notice the hooks wrapping. Did you get any hook wrap?
Maybe like once or twice.
Yeah, so it is possible that it could happen. So just watch the bait as it's coming in. Make sure that when you get it back in, that those hooks aren't wrapped. But other than that, it works great. Caught a ton of them. You were on a tear on it the other day.
Yeah, it's dope.
Yeah.
Do you talk about the current stuff?
Yeah, I mentioned that it maintains its posture in current, which is pretty hard to do for a crankbait, especially a flat side crankbait.
Yeah.
So I think it's going to be a bait that you guys could add to your arsenal. I'd love to see the color line expand, of course. But for now, they chose a couple good colors and a couple interesting colors to do it. So at least there's a shad, there's a couple bluegills, there's a red, and then of course we all need that pink squarebill. So glad that that made it into top 5. Yes, sir.
If you run it rod tip up,
yeah,
you can use it as a wake bait.
So Griff just mentioned that it will wake with the tip up, and then it's going to have that 4 to 3 foot dive depending on the line and you know what else you guys are using. So give it a look. I think you're really going to like it. The Flat CB SR from Lucky Craft, available now. All right, now a bait that you guys have been asking for years for Lucky Craft to bring back returns in 5 JDM colors, and these are all good colors. The Gunfish 75 returns for a limited time. Now, I'm saying limited. I hope it's not limited, but I'm just trying to be realistic here that these are probably going to sell out, and then we're not going to see them again for a while. Gunfish 75, one of the more popular gunfish sizes, really ever to be made. 75 millimeters, 6.5 grams. This is a finessey gunfish that we used to always throw. We'd kind of go back and forth between the Gunfish 75 and the Sammy 65. So, you know, spinning rod, bait finesse gear, it's perfect, but it has an amazing walk. Now, this is going to be in the no feather version. Okay, so the old one used to have a feathered treble. You could, of course, add a feathered treble, but these are going to come like this, no feather. So that's what the NF stands for. It has just that little knock. Right, so you get just that little bit of sound, but 5 colors. So we have Wakasagi that I have in my hands. We have an MS Wakasagi. We have Real Tane Wakasagi. We have Purple Chartreuse. Right, so some really good looking colors in that. So 5 colors, limited drop, Gunfish 75, back from Lucky Craft. All right, another bait that we've been getting a ton of questions about bringing back is this bad boy. The Pointer 128 from Lucky Craft is back, and it's back in a bunch of new colors. And it's a 128 millimeter, 28 gram jerkbait, kind of the biggest, baddest, you know, main jerkbait in their lineup. They do make some larger sizes, but they're not really that practical. But the 128 used to be a staple for a lot of guys, especially in the spring, the summer when there's gizzard shad around, bluegills around. It's a great one for fishing high in the column. Some new colors in it. So we see NC Ghost Minnow. Of course, we see some restocks like American Shad, regular Ghost Minnow. But we also see Ghost Minnow Sakura. That's the one with that kind of pink back to it. We see French Pearl OB. We see Bone Pro Blue. We see MS Ghost Minnow. And then for you California guys, finally, we have Clear Lake Hitch back in stock. This has been a color that Lucky Craft hasn't done in quite some time. I've been begging them to do it. So the Clear Lake Hitch is back in the Pointer 128. Scoop them up while you can. I hope they stay around. But for now, those are back from Lucky Craft. And then while we're on jerkbaits, Jeff, we see some returns of some harder to find Pointer 100s as well. So colors like smallmouth bass, MSMJ herring, live stripe shad, amongst others, all return from Lucky Craft. So big restock in those. And then I know a lot of you have been dying to get more colors in the 78 Pointer as well. So this is your week. So smallmouth bass in the Pointer 78. Doesn't that look sick? Little baby smallmouth. MS Ghost Wakasagi is back. Silver Cheek Chartreuse Shad, new color. Ghost Minnow Sakura, new color with the pink. So some new colors, some returns in the Pointer 78 from Lucky Craft. All right, and then finally from Lucky Craft, they have been doing an amazing job getting us colors that we've needed in LV500s. A bunch more colors showed up. So just in time for everybody to be on the lipless bite. Colors that we haven't seen in a really long time return. So Aurora Craw is back. Joaquin is back. I haven't seen this color in years. Just a super sick red color that Lucky Craft just doesn't make very often. So that's back. Aurora Gold returns. Live Ghost Minnow returns. Simple colors that just haven't been around, like Sexy Chartreuse Shad, Silver Cheek Chartreuse Shad, Pearl IU, Clearwater Shad, right? So if you guys are in the middle of your spring season, this is an amazing time to scoop up some LVs from Lucky Craft. Those are all available now. All right, new Bassmaster Classic drop from our friends at Sims and Matt Stockton. Okay, so you know that we collab with Stockton and Sims to do some really cool logos for us. We have 3 super fresh logos, all with the spirit of making fishing great again, right? Not live scope stuff, pure fishing stuff. Okay, so 3 new logos. So we have a new smallmouth logo, eating an OSP Blitz DR. It's pretty sick. And by the way, this is going to be available on this piece here, which is the Sims Solarflex Guide Cooling Hoodie. This is their top of the line cooling hoodie that has the face mask built in and everything. It's got, if there's any Orion, you can put 6 of them back in that back pocket. Just an amazing, amazing shirt in that color. And then also in the same shirt in the blue, okay? And we will eventually get it in some other shirts as well, but for now, if you're a fan of that super dope smallmouth OSP logo, is available in those 2 options. There is also a new largemouth option, and it is a largemouth eating a deep 6. Okay, so a largemouth Megabass deep 6 option. This is going to be available in this bad boy, which is the Bug Stopper Solarflex. It's also going to be available in my new favorite shirt, which is the Solarflex Cooling Hoodie. So not the Guide Cooling Hoodie. So it's the same cooling material, but it doesn't have that built-in buff, which I love, because I like to wear my own gaiter and gloves and that kind of stuff. I always have. And this way it's not built in, so it's lighter weight. When I don't need it, it's not sitting back there. Super sick shirt. So 2 options in that as well. And then finally, we've been ignoring the trout guys, but now there is a new brown trout logo, crushing a Megabass trick darter, right? So for you fans of big browns, jerk baits, I got you. So we've got that guide cooling hoodie in that beautiful stone. Looks sick in that. We also have it in a bug stopper. I know a lot of you trout guys live in the land of bugs, so we have it in a bug stopper, and it's kind of cool blue. And then we have it in a regular Solarflex as well. So we kind of went with more trout type colors in that bay leaf. Okay, so those are available now while supplies last. All right, Jeff, we have reached the portion of the show where the next however long it takes me to talk through these rods will be all about rods. Okay, so the 4 biggest rod players in our industry dropping new rods that all compete against each other at the same time. Kind of crazy, right? But kind of exciting at the same time. The challenge is that it really kind of clouds everything. It makes it difficult to really navigate which one to get. So just to make sure that we're all on the same page, Daiwa, even though we technically released this a couple weeks ago, this is the official launch of the Daiwa Zillion lineup. And we've talked about this, so I'm not gonna spend a lot of time on this, but I just wanted to throw it into the mix because this is the Daiwa Zillion, $399, kind of that middle of the Daiwa lineup kind of rod. St. Croix officially released its new Physyx rod. Okay, so a whole new concept from St. Croix, $399, price exactly the same, kind of in the middle of their lineup. Megabass, technically not releasing until April, but I wanted to include them in this conversation. Orochi X10, $399, new lineup for them, kind of in the middle of their lineup. And then of course, GLoomis has their brand new GLX that just dropped this week. Always kind of been in the middle of their lineup, $550, so not the same price point. We'll get to all this. So those are the 4 rods that have dropped this week. Let's just start here at Daiwa, and then we'll dive through the other 3 because we can spend some real quality time with them. So Daiwa Zillion, we dropped it a few weeks ago. I'm not gonna spend a lot of time, just a quick refresher. Kind of a nice, clean, black blank. It has that monocoque kind of carbon back end, so it's light. It's going to increase sensitivity. What I really love is the reel seat. So the air sensor reel seat is nice. It's always been very comfortable. It's painted. It's really beautiful. And there's some really cool actions, including some flex light actions that Daiwa has desperately needed in their lineup. So kind of a good all around, kind of a great transition between Tatula and Steez. That's the Zillion line. Okay. All right, so let's jump over to this week's releases because I know this is the freshest in your mind. Okay, St. Croix has released a brand new line of rods. They are calling it Physyx. Okay, so before we get to my impressions on Physyx, let's just break down what Physyx is touted to be. This is an SC4 Plus carbon blank. So it's a similar blank to what a lot of you St. Croix fans may be used to. You will notice instantly that this is a departure from St. Croix styling. They have gone with an attempt to be more urban, more modern. The back end of this is all carbon fiber. Okay, so this is a full carbon fiber grip. This is a full carbon fiber grip. This is aluminum lockdown nut. The carbon fiber grip has an integrated TPU in it, which is used just as like a tactile, it's like a thing for your hands. So if you get sweaty, if it gets slippery, it's a kind of a tactical TPU on there. You will notice that it has a dual trigger system. The idea behind the carbon is that the carbon will increase sensitivity to your hands much more than say cork, EVA foam, or plastic, which I know this looks kind of similar like the St. Croix trout line. That's just kind of a plastic piece, but it's not plastic. It is carbon fiber. For whatever reason, they chose to go with just the kind of plain stamped carbon fiber instead of like the glossy, cool woven carbon fiber that everybody thinks is cool. But I will get to that. Well, I guess maybe we are at that point of our show. So these are going to be available in casting and spinning. So spinning is exactly the same. They have gone with full carbon fiber here and carbon fiber there. So $399 is the price point of these guys. I should note some highlights and things that you should definitely consider. Made in the USA. It's a big thing. There's not many things made here in the USA. And made in the USA at a $399 price point. Pretty solid, pretty strong. St. Croix warranty is a 15-year transferable in perpetuity warranty. Okay, so what that means is if you buy this rod, you use it for 6 months and you end up, I don't really like it, you can sell this rod to a buddy or Facebook Marketplace or whatever, and the new owner will also get that same warranty. That's rare. That doesn't exist in GLoomis or Megabass or any of those other brands. Those are to original owner only. Once you resell it, no warranty. So St. Croix does a great job in extending that warranty. If you break this rod 10 years from now and they replace it, your warranty starts over. So that 15 years in theory is kind of forever, right? So I would say probably the best warranty in the business. Now, let's just give you my feedback, not marketing fluff feedback, on where I'm at with this. If you guys are fans of St. Croix actions, the blanks work really good. I've had casting and spinning in my hands for a couple of months now. And I know I give St. Croix a really hard time on this channel, and I get a lot of feedback from you guys wondering why I give them such a hard time, why I keep messing with them if all I do is talk shit. It's not all I do is talk shit. It's just that I know the people there and I know their capabilities. St. Croix has the ability of making the best rods on earth. I just think they come up short so many times. They're missing so many things, right? So I give them a hard time because I know they can be better, right? So I gave this rod so much energy and effort. I wanted to love this rod. And a lot of you guys might love this rod. Now, this is just my personal feedback. At initial glance, I say the styling is okay, right? But the curb appeal, it's a pretty heavy rod. I don't know where the weight's coming from. It shouldn't be from the carbon fiber. It shouldn't be from the aluminum, so I'm just assuming it's from the blank, or maybe the scrim that's used to attach this. I don't know, but comparatively to the Zillion or the GLX or the X10, it's a pretty heavy rod, okay? So that should be the first thing to notice. You're not gonna be blown away by the weight of this thing. In my opinion, this was a rod that was engineered on a computer and not on the water. And that's my biggest struggle with this thing. There's some interesting things that I want to love. For instance, they are taking the Trigon that they did in Mojo Bass. So Trigon is that triangular shaped grip. So supposedly when we hold a rod, our hands are more in a triangle. So our hands should have more, points of contact with Trigon. I don't know that I buy it. I actually prefer the round grip for myself, but maybe some of you guys like that triangular grip. When I hold my hand like that, I just see a circle. I don't see a triangle, but maybe I'm weird. Do you see a triangle when you hold a rod, or do you see a circle?
Circle.
Yeah. So I don't exactly know, but some of you, it might be a thing, right? The rear trigger idea is to give you another place to grip as you're casting. Doesn't really do anything for me. It's not bad. Doesn't get in the way. It's just kind of maybe a gimmicky thing, but I don't know that it improved anything. I've never really had a problem just grabbing the back of my rod when I needed to, but now you have a trigger. It's also on the spinning. But here's what I mean by, I feel like the rod doesn't have any soul. I feel like it was just developed on a computer screen and kind of just a marketing development instead of a rod that was really pushed to where it could be. I don't know why we have all these little grooves on the grip here. You'll notice that on this grip, it's kind of glued together here at the seat. You've got all these little grooves, right? And you've got this kind of TPU, you've got this laser etching. The challenge is that when you fish, your finger, depending on how you hold your rod, I have to hold it about here, okay? Because the rod's relatively heavy and this is kind of the comfort spot. Your finger is rubbing on these grooves the entire time. So after like a 2-hour stint of using it, I had blisters on my fingers. So not a huge fan of the grip and the feel. Don't get me started on the spinning. So the spinning is a huge miss for me. If you guys are fans of St. Croix sensitivity, you'll probably like it. But I don't know that any St. Croix fans are gonna like the styling. That's what's weird. But you'll notice that it's a huge front grip. When you put a reel on it, you almost have to hold it here. So your rod, your hands are on this huge piece. They're nowhere near the rod. I want my hands to be on the rod, but if my hands are here, then they're so far up away from the reel that when I go to cast, I have to re-put my hand, open the bail, throw, and then re-put my hand up. It's just, it's not it for me, okay? So we can dive in to the line a little bit further, but some of you may find a different experience. Of course, you know, a lot of you have been asking about, you know, two-piece models. You know, Trey McKinney won the Bassmaster, snapped one on a hook set on live, which didn't necessarily go too well on there. But there you go. I'm curious to know what you guys think. I think it's more of a marketing push. They used, you know, a young skater dude, they used a young black guy, they used a young girl in all their marketing things. And when I look at those three people's Instagrams, none of them have St. Croix listed as a title. None of them really have a lot of fishing stuff. So it's almost like they just hired models to look the part instead of making a rod that people actually needed. So disappointed, but at the end of the day, the performance is still good. So the blank is fine. The performance is still fine, still threw well, it still handles everything well, sensitivity is fine. It's just not a very comfortable rod for me. So there you go. You guys will hopefully have a different experience because I would love to sell a gazillion St. Croix rods. I know that's probably not the push to do it, but I want to be honest with you guys and give you my feedback, and I'd love for you to share yours as well. I might be completely wrong. I hope I am, but there you go. There's the new Physyx rods from St. Croix. All right, let's jump over to GLoomis. So brand new GLX offering from GLoomis. So kind of funny that the Made in America brands fighting each other at the same time. So GLoomis going the opposite way. They are going back to throwback old school styling. So instead of going modern and traditional, they're going old school and kind of throwback. So it's kind of a throwback to that old GLX styling and in classic GLoomis styling. You know, it's a combination of cork. There are custom built CI4 reel seats that go with it. And then it's a kind of an all black blank. So clean. Basically, the marketing push behind this rod is that this GLX represents kind of the highest Loomis engineering possible without the integration of Shimano tech. So if you guys are familiar with NRX Plus or fans of NRX Plus, that incorporates kind of that cross weave, you know, Shimano Loomis kind of collab tech, right? This is going old school Loomis with no Shimano tech. So graphite just running, you know, unilaterally from the butt to the tip. What I can tell you is I was a little confused at the beginning because the price point on these is $550. NRX is $625. So we're talking about a $75 difference between the top of the line to this, which doesn't make a lot of sense. I was expecting them to be in the $4s. So I'm assuming that that means that's a sign of things to come when NRX gets a refresh. I'm assuming those are gonna go upwards closer to $7. Just speculation, no idea if that's right or not. But I was curious what that meant by, you know, Loomis only kind of tech. And I can tell you it's a really classic throwback to Loomis actions. If you guys have been in Loomis for a long time, I was basically born and raised with Loomis. So I give Loomis a hard time a lot too because I expect great things from them. So far, I've been kind of impressed. I didn't think I would be. Back are the big triggers, which I'm not a huge fan of. A lot of you guys that don't like big triggers, you will not like this rod. Basically the same trigger that's on the NRX Plus. But what I can tell you is that the balance of these rods is pretty damn spot on, and there really is no twisting. So that's the big thing that bothers me with those big triggers. And a lot of times the NRX Plus, because they have that cross weave, they do have a tendency to sometimes kind of twist, and that trigger after holding it all day will have a tendency to kind of rub. I didn't experience it with this. And again, I'm relatively new to them, so this is kind of a first impressions look. But sensitivity, I would say maybe just a slight step below NRX. Overall power, a slight step above NRX. So I found these maybe slightly more enjoyable. The powers are pretty much true. So if you guys know, in NRX, I would say the powers are like a half a power too much. So like an 893 is really more like an 892 plus. 894 is kind of like an 893 plus. They're just a little bit underpowered. These are back to true Loomis power. So 3 power is a true 3 power. So the 893 is kind of like the 894 in NRX. Okay, so you're gonna have to kind of navigate the lineup and relearn them a little bit. But there's also some new rods that I wanted to talk about as well. So here's a look at one of the casting rods. There's flipping rods are back. Griff, I know you were throwing the flipping rod around. Initial thoughts?
It's great. It was comfortable. Flipping was super easy. Right, even that rod's at 7'5".
Yep.
And I was having no issue flipping with my offhand.
No.
So
So it's much lighter. If you guys are familiar with the old GLX flipping sticks that weighed like 18 pounds, this one weighs virtually nothing, which is great. So that's a welcome. But they also have some new spinning rods that I just wanted to show you guys really quick. So there's an 892 spin. So in NRX it goes 852, which GLX also has, then 872, and then that's it. This is an 892, so it adds 2 more inches to it, which is a very interesting rod. There's also an 863 drop shot rod. Okay, so there's still the 822, but now they've added 4 more inches and slight more power. So some of you guys that are nose hooking bigger water, making longer casts, there's now a version for you. It still maintains that softness at the top. Okay, so it's still a true nose hook rod. What I like about these is that, you know, you can see the grip is basically right at where the reel is, right? So when you put your hand there, it's comfortable, your hand's on the blank. So if you're a hand on the blank kind of guy, this is going to be a great spinning rod for you. I really found them enjoyable to use. So I love it. Now, 550, obviously you're 150 more than the St. Croix, than the Daiwa, than the Megabass we're gonna talk about. It does come with a lifetime warranty, non-transferable, so if you sell it to somebody else, warranty is void. But the Loomis warranty is obviously lifetime against manufacturing defects. If it breaks for any reason, they will replace it. And then there's also the Expediter program that allows you to replace the rod if you break it. So you bang it over Jeff's head because he's not throwing the right gizmo color, you smash it in a car door, whatever, there's the Expediter program. So I'm curious. I like it so far. I think it's going to be a successful line, and I think it integrates well with NRX. Am I choosing this over NRX? I guess it depends on the model. I think they're going to blend well together. So I think if you're a Loomis fan, this is a huge home run for you. It should be right in your lane. It should deliver some missing holes that NRX wasn't able to fill. So I'm excited for you guys. So there you go. GLX available now. All right, and then finally, again, this technically isn't launching until probably mid-April is when we're gonna actually see these, but I didn't want all these other ones to come and then, you know, let you guys run out by and then boom, smack this on you and you go, oh man, I wish I knew that was coming. So I'm gonna just throw it in to the ring, okay? This is the Megabass Orochi X10 line of rods. Now these are gonna come in at $399. This is not replacing Orochi XX. This is not replacing anything. This is just a whole new line. So this is going to be in addition to Destroyer P5, in addition to Orochi XX, in addition to Levante. It is going to position in between Orochi XX and P5. Now, in the Megabass world, Destroyer P5, Orochi XX, Levante, those are the core lineups of their rods, right? Orochi X10 is going to come in as kind of like a specialty lineup. These are built different. The models are going to be different. So it's going to be more of a specialty type thing. Now, if this speaks to you, we are going to open up pre-sale. So you guys are welcome to pre-order these if you want. Just keep in mind that you're looking at probably mid to late April before I'm able to deliver them to you. Okay, so they're still on their way from Japan to the US. So, you know, they should be here soon. If you want to make sure you scoop them up, you can. But I'm going to talk about them really quick, and I'm going to highlight a few of the models that you should maybe keep on your radar. Okay, so Orochi X10, obviously in classic Megabass styling, super stylish. You've got metal in all the places that you'd want metal. So if your hand's on the blank, you're touching metal again. Yuki Ito's theory is that metal transmits vibration better than any other material. So you have metal contact points anywhere that you need to be on the rod. It has custom grips on it that are very comfortable, and each rod has a different grip. You have a semi contoured grip on each one so that it's comfortable on your casting, right? And it's super clean. Now, the Orochi X10 is the first rod to incorporate a natural organic fiber, okay? So it's kind of like, if you think of like bamboo and how many things we do with bamboo now, right? Bamboo can be used to build buildings. It can be used to make sun shirts. Like, there's so many different things that natural fibers are capable of. It's kind of that same idea. There is a natural fiber that is woven into the carbon that's designed to do a couple things. The first thing is it's reducing the carbon footprint. So this is a step towards a cleaner rod build for the future, right? From a performance standpoint, it's going to dampen the actions just by a touch while strengthening them at the same time. When I first got these in my hands, and I bought some of these from Japan like a lot of you guys did when they first launched, and when I first got them, I thought, you know, I think these are going to shatter and break, but it's amazing how strong these rods are with that integrated fiber inside of there. Okay, so let me just highlight a few. Now there's going to be, I think in total 15 models, don't quote me on that, but again, this is going to be a limited type drop. Okay, so they're going to come, they're going to be available, and then they're probably going to sell out, and they may not be produced again for another 8, 10, 12 months. This is not going to be a line that's going to be just available all the time like Destroyer P5. This is going to be one that if you're interested, you're going to want to scoop them up. Okay, so let's start with spinning. There's two spinning rods that I want to talk about. Jade Python, and it gets you a look at the spinning. Again, a shorter grip. Your hand is going to be kind of just like that Loomis. Cork right where you need it to be, and then your fingers are on the blank, so, you know, styled the way everybody actually wants their grip to be styled. Still clean, but this is the Jade Python. The Jade Python is going to be maybe a slightly lighter version of a Windbuster. So if you guys are Windbuster fans and you want a rod that's just a touch lighter, this is the rod. Okay, this is the rod that's going to complement the Windbuster. Not going to replace it, not quite as sensitive, but very similar fish, very sensitive, strong. It's got that nice movement. Jade Python for sure is going to be a hit. The other one that I think a lot of you guys are going to love is the Medusa. So the Medusa is a 611 F3, but it has a carbon stinger tip. So this is designed as kind of a drop shot rod. It's a great drop shot rod, but it also is an amazing mid-stroll rod. So if you guys are throwing, you know, 5-inch Sakamata Shad, little ball head, this is an amazing one for just doing that little minnow shake. You guys are going to love it for that. Sensitive, easy to cast, everything that you need. There's that one. On the casting side, there's 3 I wanted to point out. And there's a bunch of good ones, but we'll do a full breakdown on this, okay? So stay tuned. As we get closer to drop, we will break down the entire lineup, show them to you guys. We've had a lot of time on the water with these, so we can speak and answer any of your questions. Swamp Survivor is one that's desperately been needed. It's an F771 XT, designed as a frog slash flip, kind of just big, heavy cover rod, double-footed guides all the way up. It's lightweight. It's really comfortable to cast. It's really comfortable. You notice that the trigger changes and the grip changes just a touch, and it just sits so perfectly where you need it. That's my favorite of the batch. The Bush Adder is another one that is going to become a staple. It's an F772 XT, you know, rated for up to 2.5 ounces. Swamp Survivor, by the way, to 3 ounces. This is a great 6-inch mag draft, spinnerbait, kind of just an all-around junk fishing rod. But again, those tapers are going to be a little bit slower in there, so they're going to have a lot more power, and they've got a lot of versatility. And then finally, Jeff, a rod that I know you were pretty excited about when you first got to throw it, the Anaconda. This is an F9 710 XT. This is a 1 to 7 ounce swim bait rod. Okay, super lightweight. Really kind of, would you call it a soft bait rod?
Yeah.
It's a soft bait rod. So if you guys are looking for a glide bait rod, it already exists. Blackjack, perfect. I mean, it kind of covers almost everything you need. But what Megabass hasn't really had is like a 8-inch, 10-inch mag, Battle Shad, Tyrant, Citizens, those kind of things. Now we have it. So it's not a broomstick. It's still got a nice softness, but the build with that organic fiber shuts it off quick, so it's got tons of power. What was your initial thoughts on the Anaconda?
A lot of power.
Okay.
A lot of power, that rod.
Yeah.
And for throwing soft baits, it's definitely the deal. It's super lightweight, and it's a rod that was needed in the lineup.
Agreed. So again, all these rods are going to complement, if you guys are Megabass rod fans, these are all going to complement the lineups you already have. None of these are necessarily going to replace anything that you have. They're just kind of gap fillers, right? Kind of feel the same way with GLX. You know, GLX is a wider lineup. You can just have GLX and there's enough rods in the lineup that you can cover everything. These are going to be more like designed to be super versatile, do a lot of things. If you guys are shore fishermen, these would be great rods to add that you can do a lot of things with one rod. So I'm pretty excited about them. So there you go. There is a first look at the Megabass Orochi X10 coming this April. Now you guys can kind of navigate between St. Croix, GLoomis, Daiwa, Megabass. You can kind of make some decisions on where you want to go. By the way, since we talked about it with Megabass and St. Croix, made in China and Vietnam, 3-year warranty. So all rods, even though they're JDM rods, 3-year warranty with all Megabass rods. First year, free replacement. Year 2 and 3, they'll let you replace it at a big discount. So basically, it's kind of like the Expediter program. So, you know, but that's one of the ways that they're able to offer this at $399. If this had the GLoomis warranty, this would be $899 probably. Okay, so there you go. Gives you guys a chance to navigate the lineups and decide for yourself what you like. All right, guys, that is a wrap for today. Whew. I know that was a lot. There was a lot on the rods, but we will do a full breakdown. I'm going to take all these rods out on the water and show you guys firsthand too how we like them on the water and how they compare side by side. So, you know, I know sometimes it can be difficult navigating baits and rods online, but if you guys ever have any questions, shoot me a DM. I basically live on Instagram, so I can help you navigate rods as much as you need. And of course, if you have questions on anything we covered today, from baits to colors to techniques, drop it down below and I will get answer for you. Jeff will put links to all the products. If you guys have any questions, holler. Enjoy your Sunday. I hope the angler you're rooting for wins the BassMasters Classic. Jeff, of all the things we talked about, other than the Gizmo, that one's too obvious. Your favorite thing we talked about today? As you're just playing with the X10 Anaconda?
Probably the I don't remember, dude. It's been so long.
You're just mind-wise. It's kind of a long episode. So
Slender Scat.
Slender Scat. Okay, good. Yeah, I was pretty excited about the Osakana slide. I think you guys are gonna check.
Oh, right.
That was today.
Yeah, then let's just go with that one.
Perfect. Thank you, Jeff, for paying attention to what we're doing here.
It's been 4 hours.
Yeah, I'm sorry your work schedule is so tough. Guys, I hope you have an amazing weekend. Go hug your family, catch a giant fish, root for your favorite angler on Bassmaster. If you have any questions, hit me up. We'll see you guys again next week. Peace, my friends.